Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Oxford University Press, I welcome you all to a celebration of our latest publication, Krishna's Playground, Vrindavan in the 21st Century by John Stratton Hawley. This book is an extension of our organizational mission of furthering excellence in research, scholarship, and education by publishing worldwide. We're delighted that so many of you have joined us today. This is a book about a deeply beloved place. Many refer to it as the spiritual capital of India, and Vrindavan is a spot where the god Krishna is believed to have spent his childhood and youth. For Hindus, it has always stood for youth, and it has been a realm of love and beauty that enables one to retreat from the weight and harshness of the world. However, now it is being gobbled up by this very world it has been a retreat from. Delhi's sprawl inches closer day by day, and half the town is a vast real estate development project. And the waters of the Yamuna are too polluted to drink or even bathe in. Temples now style themselves as theme parks, and the world's tallest religious building is under construction in Krishna's pastoral paradise. It is this place that Professor Hawley navigates through in this book. There are certain important questions that this book raises, and given the times that we are in, this makes for a very timely intervention. Oxford University Press is a department of the University of Oxford and the largest university press in the world. We publish in 102 global languages with products that cover a broad academic and educational spectrum. We have been in India for more than 100 years now and strive to strengthen the press's mission to create world-class academic and educational resources. This book by Professor Hawley is naturally a prestigious addition to our oeuvre. Without further ado, I would now like to welcome on stage Hindustani classical music genius and Padma Shri awardee Ms. Shubha Mudgal, who is accompanied by noted tabla player Mr. Anish Pradhan and renowned harmonium player Mr. Sudhir Nayak for an ode to the beloved land of Vrindavan. Once again, I extend my warmest greetings to all of you who have joined us today. Thank you.
Radhe Radhe. Before I begin, I would like to introduce you to Pavitra Chari, who will be providing tanpura and vocal accompaniment. Professor Hawley, would you be kind enough to read out the translation of Would you read out the translation of the book? Right? Yes. Oh, you don't have it. Don't worry. Sur's ocean. देखो 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 वृंदावन श्री कमल नयन देखो वृंदावन श्री कमल नयन श्री कमल नयन देखो 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 वृंदावन श्री कमल नयन देखो वृंदावन श्री कमल नयन आयो है मदन गुण गुदर दैन आयो है मदन गुण गुदर दैन देखो वृंदावन श्री कमल कमल नयन कमल नयन देखो देखो वृंदावन श्री कमल नयन देखो वृंदावन श्री कमल नयन देखो वृंदावन श्री कमल नयन आयो है मदन गुण गुदर दैन द्रुमन बदल कुसुम अनेक रंग द्रुमन बदल कुसुम अनेक रंग प्रति ललित लता संकुलित संग कर धनुधर धर कटिकस निशंग कर धनुधर धर कटकस शंग जनों बने सुभट सज कवच अंग देखो वृंदावन कमल कमल देखो देखो वृंदावन श्री कमल नयन रथ सायल सिलापद चर चकोर मोर रथ सायल सिलापद चर चकोर जहाँ ध्वज जहाँ ध्वज जहाँ ध्वज पताक तरुतार के रे जहाँ ध्वज पताक तरुतार के रे निरझर निशान तहाँ भ्रमर भेरी जाने सुमति मलय बात जानेब सुमति मलय बात रुचि रजत बिपिन बिलोल पात देखो वृंदावन भये हम मोर वृंदावन क्यों ना भये हम मोर क्यों ना भये हम मोर वृंदावन वृंदावन क्यों ना भये हम मोर वृंदावन क्यों ना भये हम मोर करत निवास करत निवास गोवर्धन ऊपर करत निवास गोवर्धन ऊपर निरखत नंद किशोर वृंदावन क्यों ना भये हम मोर वृंदावन क्यों ना भये हम मोर करत निवास गोवर्धन ऊपर करत निवास गोवर्धन ऊपर निरखत नंद किशोर वृंदावन क्यों ना भये हम मोर वृंदावन क्यों ना भये हम मोर वृंदावन क्यों ना भये हम मोर क्यों न भये बंसी कुल सजने क्यों न भये बंसी कुल सजने अधर पिबत घन घोर अधर पिबत घन घोर क्यों न भये बंसी कुल सजने क्यों न भये बंसी कुल सजने अधर पिबत घन घोर क्यों न भये गुंजावन बेली क्यों न भये गुंजावन बेली रहत श्याम जू की ओर वृंदावन क्यों न भये हम मोर वृंदावन Thank you.
That was quite a spell. Thank you. May I now request Professor John Hawley to take us through a brief visual tour of the book. John Stratton Hawley is Clearto Professor of Religion at Barnard College, Columbia University.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you may have heard of hard acts to follow. Let me just say that this is the absolute swaroop of a hard act to follow. We're so grateful to you for beginning with us. And, you know, as I'm just looking around the room, Vinaji, I'm thinking of the moment we were at your house and listening to Shobha perform some of the real 16th century poems of Sur. And here we have Paramanand Das into the wrapping, so to speak, the two senior-most poets of the Astachap. So senior, in fact, that they precede the formulation of the Astachap. They were the great foundations of Braj Bhasha Sahitya as we know it today. But we can speak of that history, but history is nothing in the face of the present, when the present is brought to musical life like that. A hard act to follow. A hard act to follow. Shivangi from Oxford hasn't told me when I get to say thanks to everybody. So I'm just going to sneak it in here as quickly as I can. And you know, there are many, many faces I know in the room. Let me start by saying thanks to you all. So I made a little list, but I'm hoping to get that list in about 2 minutes. So please don't be afraid. First of all, I'm remembering you, sir, from sitting in the front row 2 years ago on this very day. I mean, who could ask for such a thing to be repeated? And, oh my gosh, and then there's Rajiv Bhargava is actually the reason that we're here on this particular day, because Rajiv's travel plans are very complicated in this world. He happens to be in Delhi today, so we arranged for this Lagna so that he could be with us. Let him stand symbolically for the CSDS if you want, but it's much more important that he stands for himself and, of course, Tani. So, I mean, you know, so those are just some examples. At OUP, I have seen how an institution which has a long, long history is able to sustain itself even in the face of gaining and losing its own personnel. This book has been in the hands of many, many people to whom I am grateful, one and all. The copy editing has been fabulous. Sita Naresh warned me against a possible misperception of the book, and I wrote in a paragraph to try to meet that. Who can actually expect that kind of advice from the people whom you're suddenly meeting in the process of publishing something? And it's not just OUP. We have Prasun Chatterjee in the room, who was a part of OUP at one point, then fled to another press. We have others who fled to other presses, but still OUP is OUP. So let me start there. Soon we'll be seeing Purushottam Agrawal, without whom I couldn't possibly... Are dekho! Saad, saad. And we think of several institutions that are associated with Purushottam. I'd like especially to mention JNU at the moment. JNU absolutely under attack. JNU, which stands for the very meaning of a university in the humanities in this country, the very meaning for what that is. One can only hope as we do from every great institution around the world, that JNU will not be under the kind of fire that is under today for very long. I had the pleasure of having dinner with Romana Thapar several nights ago. What can I say? To have a living JNU like that is a national treasure that makes it hard to think actually of anything else. And then Vrindavan. We'll come back to Delhi, but Vrindavan. We have some representatives from Vrindavan itself with us tonight. Three very important people who are sitting in the 1, 2, 3, 4th row, and now you're all looking toward them. We are here seeing some generations of the spread Goswami / Sharma family, and you'll be able to hear from one of these, the youngest of them, later in the evening. So these are actual bodily representatives of Vrindavan itself. And Delhi, let me return to Delhi. Delhi is just an amazing city. It's the world capital of pollution. And as if to hide from that fact, we've had rains today to improve the quality of the air for all of us. So I just am hoping that the cosmos is watching us in this way, and that somehow the problem of Delhi air will be solved within our lifetimes, and without us having shortened our lifetimes too much. So thank you for braving the weather. Delhi, what is Delhi? We mentioned the CSCS, we mentioned JNU, there's also Delhi University. Dear and esteemed colleagues, I'm looking at Bharati right now and thinking of Raziuddin Akil. The Fulbright Commission, or USIEF as it has been renamed. Several from the Fulbright Commission are here. I should say the Fulbright program, the Fulbright Nehru program. It has a better name now. And one among them is a Brajvasi. And that is Neeraj Goswami, who is sitting in the back row, who is also here to represent Vrindavan, as is Samrat Kumar, who wrote this book before I did. Grateful to you for all those connections. I'd like to recognize the Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts, which has taken a recent interest in this book, and Malik Kaushal's very valuable work has sustained me and sort of complemented some of the things that I've done. I don't know where you disappeared to, Mali, but I know you're here somewhere. There we are, okay. So let's remember the IGNCA and the crucial role that it continues to play in trying to do something for the widely shared cultural and historical heritage of this country. Sahapedia, you may be surprised to have Sahapedia mentioned. Where did you disappear to, Narayani? Somewhere Narayani Gupta, the great historian, is in the room. There we go, okay. I had the great chance of being interviewed a couple days ago by Niharika, your daughter. What a great experience, you know, and I just like to say, I know that Sahapedia is not just of Delhi, it moves beyond Delhi, but that effort to make the full cultural heritage of India available beyond the boundaries of any institution is the most valuable kind of work that can be done. Finally, let me mention something else that's slightly outside of Delhi, and that is the Vrindavan Chandrodaya Mandir, which we'll be hearing a little bit more about. It's slightly out of Delhi in that its architectural base is in Gurgaon. So we'll be hearing later on, not too much later on, from Rimpesh Sharma, who has joined us on behalf of that. So I just want to say that it's an enormous privilege to be here in Delhi. Thank you for welcoming me once again. I don't know what my life would be without you. It just wouldn't be a life. So I thank you for that. Now, so we actually take a look at a little bit of what's in the book. I promise you this will be fast. And I even have a little drink of water. Now we need the irreplaceable help of Rimpesh to show us how to do this. One moment. How do we? Okay. Ooh, you just told me how to do it. Is it the upward facing arrow? The downward facing arrow. This one. The right facing arrow.
Yes.
Okay. Very quickly. Okay. Oh, were you spared actually hearing me that whole time? Good for you. Okay. So, Krishna's Playground. What is in this book? It has 7 chapters, and these chapters move roughly up like that and back down like that, after the fashion of a Shakespearean play. You know, you get up to the 3rd act, and there's the crisis, and then you make your way down to the end. It won't have perhaps quite that kind of ironic feeling to it, but you can see something. Krishna's Playground. Here we see a wonderful page from a manuscript which is in Banaras now in the collection of Bharat Kala Bhavan, which is an 18th century manuscript actually, and I hope you will see that the rasas are being mixed in this page. So we have Vatsalya rasa as represented by the pot of milk, and we have Madhurya rasa as represented by, well, you take a look. So the mixing of those rasas, I think, over the years has been a special aspect of the special bhav that is Vrindavan. The first chapter of the book is my entry into Vrindavan, which happened in 1974 and 5, a very long time ago. Laura and I came to live in Radharamangera, and it doesn't look so very different today from the way in which it looked in 1974 and 5. And Radharamanji will be Radharamanji forever. Here he is. But some things have changed. When I came 45 years ago, the normal way of getting to Vrindavan was by Tanga, or perhaps by foot, or by the Radharani Express, which is by no means an express. It trundles along all the way back to Mathura. Now people hardly even come from Mathura. Things have changed. So let's just get a look at how things looked then, before we take a look at what's happened since. The second chapter of the book is called The Battle of Keshi Ghat. Keshi Ghat, as most of you know, is the place where Vrindavan comes out into the River Yamuna at its most dramatic point. My feeling would be that the Lord Chaitanya identified this place because of the way in which the Yamuna comes down from the north, curls around Vrindavan, and then makes her way to Mathura. It's a very dramatic turn in the river. Now I'm sorry to say she takes a shortcut to get there, and it's because she doesn't have as much water in her as she used to have. Things do change over time, but something has been lost. This battle of Keshi Ghat is, I want to use that in a metaphorical sense. It's, as I try to describe it in the book, it's a battle between 2 groups, one of whom I would call the futurists, those who are deeply invested in the importance of developing Vrindavan, making it come up to speed, so to speak, with the modern age, with today. And then there are those who, while not being anti-modern, feel that if Vrindavan loses what it was, it will no longer be Vrindavan. So the first chapter is about a battle between the futurists and the protectors, as I'm calling them. You may know that back in 2009, the Mayavati government of UP made possible a project that would have created a ring road around Vrindavan. And the pillar that you see in the middle of the Yamuna right there was one of the pillars that was to hold up that road. I am very happy to say that the town rose up and was able to come to an agreement about the fact that this highway should be stopped. And it has been stopped. That pillar no longer exists. But what does exist? You'll see that a crane is dropping very deep pilings into the river to discipline the course of the Yamuna on one side. And why would they do that? They would do it, we think, no public announcement has ever been made in a conclusive fashion, we think, to create a kind of ring road that won't be quite like Mayavati's ring road, but that would still serve that function and enable motorized traffic to go around Vrindavan. And according to some aspects of what I've heard, there would be a big kind of chabutara in front of Keshi Ghat, in consequence of which Keshi Ghat would no longer actually be on the Yamuna. In my view, if Vrindavan is no longer on the Yamuna, we are in danger of losing the very reason for Vrindavan's being Vrindavan in the first place. And what I'm hoping more than anything with this book is just to try to dramatize the importance of this moment in time, and to hope that various people who care about Vrindavan from various points of view can come together and make sure that Vrindavan still touches the Yamuna from here onward. Another aspect of the project to create this roundabout, this rounding road, is the sinking of these very huge, 6 foot in diameter pipes, which are intended to channel the polluted water of the Yamuna past Vrindavan, and then to dump it back into the Yamuna once again on the other side. You can see those pipes actually having been laid down before the great Bharatpur Palace, which is at Keshi Ghat itself. That was in the year 2018, and it was before the monsoon. The Yamuna had rather different ideas about what should happen to those pipes, and in the monsoon of 2018, we have the production of this scene. So we have these efforts to channel some kind of kalapani past Vrindavan so that somehow the Yamuna would be saved from it. But the Yamuna is expecting more from us than that. The city administration, in cooperation with the Mathura administration, in some ways has tried to beautify Vrindavan so as, one might say, to make the best of what is. But I would wonder whether that kind of decorating of a road that is actually an encroachment road and that separates the town from the river is a fundamental enough answer to the problem that Vrindavan faces these days. When I came to Vrindavan in 1974 and 1975, the first impulse of every pilgrim was to move toward the river and to bathe there and to drink a little bit of the Yamuna. These days, no one drinks and very few people bathe. What can we say of our relationship to the national environment when we no longer can drink the water or even go into it? The third chapter of the book is called The Mall of Vrindavan. I don't mean it badly, but it did occur to me as a metaphor. In the United States understanding, a mall is a place that exists, well, hello, you know what a mall is. The way in which they were built in the States usually expected that there would be one anchor store on one end of the mall and one big anchor store on the other end. Well, the anchor store on this mall, which has been created at the very time when I came into Vrindavan, is the ISKCON temple in Vrindavan. Here you see it before you. And the mood is fabulous. If you go in, you know it's a haven for selfies, and there's selfies everywhere. That wonderful living spirit of Vrindavan, you can't take that away, thank goodness. So this would be one end of what I'm calling the Mall of Vrindavan. It used to be at the very edge of town. Now it is at the geographical center of Vrindavan, because there has been so much construction beyond it. The Prem Mandir is now one of the great tirthasthans of Vrindavan. Everyone goes there. You guessed it, this is at night, and if you'll just wait for a second, the color will change, and it will change again. And far out at the corner of the Delhi Road, National Highway 2, you will see this monumental adoration of Vaishno Devi. So in seeing her as one of the sort of Dwarapalas, let us say, of Vrindavan, we're seeing a Vrindavan that's very different from the Vrindavan that came into being in the 16th century. It's being integrated into the, I would say, the megalopolitan life of Delhi as fast as we can speak. And of course, there's that huge real estate industry right behind it, surrounding this mall and being a part of this mall. Construction is everywhere, and one of the wonderful things about this exciting new Mall of Vrindavan is that it's not just a set of buildings, but also people. ISKCON we know is there, but not just one ISKCON. many ISKCONs. The legacy of ISKCON is really a very impressive and a hard to understand legacy of the last 40 or 50 years. This is Swami Vishwanand, actually as pictured in his ashram in Germany. And here is the cover girl for our book, the beautiful Swami Vishwamohini, who is actually the Adhikarani of the Vishwanand temple that is part of the New Vrindavan. The central chapter of the book is chapter 4, and this is about the Vrindavan Chandrodaya Mandir. And we're very lucky to have the chief architect of that mandir with us tonight, so we'll be able to hear a little bit more about it from, so to speak, the horse's mouth. Not Keshi, but another horse's mouth. It's, of course, associated with Akshay Patra, the great project to feed many children in various parts of India. And this comes from the page of the big book that sort of was an envisioning of the Vrindavan Chandrodaya Mandir in its early years, I would guess 5 or 6 years ago, perhaps. So part of what happens in that chapter is that we watch how the conception of this 70-story tower in Vrindavan has changed, even in the course of the last several years. This is how it was envisioned at the beginning of this year by Chanchalapati Prabhu in the ISKCON temple in Bangalore, which is the guiding light of this project. But who knows what it is exactly today? That we will hear from an Mpesi. The next chapter of the book is chapter 5, and finally we come to the women of Vrindavan. Outside of Vrindavan, one can scarcely think of Vrindavan without thinking of its women. And of course, I'm thinking of the presence of women actually in the first song that you sang, the Surdas song. It's there in the second song too. Hard to think of Vrindavan without thinking of the women who belong to Vrindavan. But as we know, many women have lived in Vrindavan because of being pushed out of their homes because of the Dayabhag system and other reasons. One of the great things that's happening in Vrindavan today is that this widow, I presume, whom I photographed 45 years ago, is no longer the sole measure of what it is to be a woman alone in Vrindavan. This is Mahadevi Ma, who is actually, the photo just comes from 2 years ago or so, and she lives at a wonderful place called Madham, which is an ashram that has been established by Mohini Giri. Mohini can't be with us tonight. She's past 80. I had hoped she could be, and she very much wanted to be, but she sends her blessings. As you know, Padma Bhushan, and just one of the great people of India, as a matter of fact, speaking for women in so many ways, and concerned about widows, actually, since 1972 and the aftermath of the Bangladesh-Pakistan war. She's established a wonderful home where women have interactions with girls who come to a school called Sannidhi. It's quite a place. And here is Mohini herself, also a fabulous person sitting in Delhi. I wish she could be with us tonight, but she can't. Let's take her blessings from here. Mohini Giri has a long history with the Congress Party. There is another institution in Vrindavan, again, one of the remarkable things about the town that has a strong connection to the BJP. And that is an institution called Vatsalyagram, which was established by Sadhu Ritambara, who is directly connected with the destruction of the Babri Mosque, was one of the great speakers at that point in time. Ram, I know you're in the room somewhere. I always think of that. But she too has had a life that has gone beyond that moment. She has established a home which is for women and for young women. This room is a remarkable room where a young woman who has given birth to a child that she feels she cannot care for and wants to give away, is able to give away that child through this window from the street, and the child will be placed on a crib. As soon as that crib feels some young person in it, a bell sounds inside the ashram, and a doctor comes to make sure that the health of the child is okay, or to care for the child from there. And then that child will be integrated into one of several pariwars, as they're called, 10 persons each, 3 adults and some children. Some of them are boys. So it's another way of thinking of how best to improve the lives of women of all ages in Vrindavan. For me, it's a remarkable thing that Vrindavan is able to attract the attentions of a great matriarch of the Congress Party and a great matriarch of the BJP into the same place. Part of the mystery of Vrindavan is to wonder how people who represent very different sides of the political spectrum could come together to save this place. Chapter 6 is about Srivats Goswami, who has been my friend and guide from the very first day since I was there. When Rumala Thapar received her copy of the book, she wanted to start with the chapter on Srivats. So there's a whole chapter on Srivats, those of you who are his bhaktas, that I hope you'll want to read, following his history in relation to his very important father. I happened to be in Vrindavan when his father died at the age of 94, not long ago. Here we see a Srivatsa who is participating in the Antyeshti. Here is the Antyeshti itself. And here you see Vishnu Priya Goswami, whom you will see in life before too long, with her younger sister Jayati. The last chapter of the book is called The Sign of Our Times. And its purpose is to ask the question, not just how can we save Vrindavan, but in saving Vrindavan, what would we be trying to save? I would want to argue that we would be saving, in some way, the entire world. That, I'm thinking of you, Raji, for having pulled out that phrase in your very kind review of the book. If Vrindavan cannot be saved, then what can be saved? Here we're looking across the river to the other side. There's no building on that side of the river now. It's pristine. But I fear that as a bridge is built to the north of that we will have inevitably the kind of development that has made the new Vrindavan a completely different place from the historic Vrindavan. I am hoping that we can find some way to landmark that terrain, along with other aspects of Vrindavan's heritage, to make it safe for hundreds of years more. For the moment, all I can say is that the world is frowning, and we live in that world. We live inside this frown. One last thing. Here is Srivats Goswami giving a talk. He's a very forceful speaker. He can't be here tonight because he's giving a talk. He's giving Bhagavad Gita in Vrindavan itself. When he ends his banyatra with devotees who have come to learn with and from him, he ends it at the temple of Govindadev, which was inaugurated in the year 1590. Here he is inside the temple. Here is an image of the temple. It's really the only one that we have, as it existed before the Shikara was destroyed, but in circumstances we don't entirely understand. I'll save that for later. But it's a vision that was made actually in Jaipur. This comes from the Bhojanshala of Raja Jai Singh at the beginning of the 18th century. But the original Govindadev temple that we're seeing here was actually built how? It was built as an expression of the concordat between Raja Man Singh, the ancestor of Raja Jai Singh, whom I just mentioned, and who? The Mughal Emperor Akbar, who is here shown, I'm happy to say, with some Jesuits, with some crazy Christian people like me. He was interested in religion in the broad, and I suspect that this was true of Man Singh too. What we will be saving if we save Vrindavan in its historical, actual, built reality is a vision of a concordat between Muslims and Hindus, between the state and ordinary people that we do not want to lose track of. May it be immortal. Thank you. It was more than 10 minutes, wasn't it?
We are honored to have among us today Mr. Purushottam Agrawal and the delightful company of Mr. Rimpesh Sharma and Vishnu Priya Goswami. Ms. Mohini Giri is not with us, unfortunately. I would now like to request the panelists and Ms. Mutkal to come on the stage and formally release the book, post which we will break for the conversation.
The best moment I ever saw in the nature of the Vimochan was when I was in Vrindavan and I happened to be carrying around a copy of an earlier Oxford book to read Bhakti Voices. And a monkey swooped down and took that book away. The monkey's instinct was, of course, to eat the book. The person tried to eat it. It didn't taste very good. So then he started reading it. And I'm glad to say he read it upside down. So I challenge you to read the book upside down. Am I here? Oh, okay. So you may be wondering what happens next. I too was wondering what happens next. Purushottam has agreed to say a few things about the book first, good. And then we'd like to have a brief discussion in which Rimpesh would speak about his entry into Vrindavan, the Vrindavan Chandrodaya Mandir, and Priya, Vishnu Priya, oh, I'm so sorry. Please forget that. She is Vishnu Priya. Vishnu Priya will speak about what it is to grow up as part of one of the old and prestigious families of Vrindavan. Gosh, maybe I can say a bit more about you as we come. Priya comes to us, of course, in the middle of a series of exams. If you're 17 and in the 12th form, you're busy taking exams. But we've known each other for a long time. I think you don't have an exam tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. So it's very great that we have just a moment of Vishnu Priya's time. And Rimpesh is one of the busiest people on the planet. So to be able to land him for this moment is really quite astonishing. He's just been elected to, now give me the title correctly, the National Commission of
Indian Building Congress.
The Indian Buildings Congress.
Working as an architect, so that's what I do.
And you're the architectural representative to it, so that's great. The country's architectural heritage is in good hands. And Purushottam Goswami, this has happened before. Purushottam Goswami is the great-grandfather of Vishnu Priya Goswami. And this other Purushottam Goswami is Purushottam Agrawal, who, oh my gosh.
Who is Purushottam Agrawal?
Who is Purushottam Agrawal? That is the great question. What do you think? So Puru, how about if you speak first, and then let's turn to our friends.
इस किताब के बारे में बोलने के लिए मैंने नोट्स अंग्रेजी में लिए थे। यहाँ आके मैंने एक चीज़ महसूस की कि हम हिंदी के सबसे बड़े और मेरे सर्वाधिक प्रिय कवियों में से एक को सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं। किताब वृंदावन के बारे में है, लेकिन वृंदावन तक जय खौली सूरदास के जरिए पहुँचे और हम सब तक वृंदावन सूरदास के जरिए पहुँचा है। उसके पहले वृंदावन था, बहुत कुछ था, चैतन्य महाप्रभु की परंपरा में था, लेकिन जहाँ तक लोगों तक पहुँचने की बात है, वृंदावन सूरदास के जरिए पहुँचा है। मैं हिंदी का विद्यार्थी हूँ, छोटा और देख सकते हैं आपके मोटा लेखक हूँ हिंदी का, और मैंने यहाँ आकर के तय किया, मेरे नोट्स अभी भी अंग्रेजी में हैं जो मुझे कहना है, मैंने तय किया कि मैं हिंदी में बात करूँगा। ये एक वक्तव्य भी है एक तरह का, और वक्तव्य इस बात का कि चाहे भक्ति की कविता हो, चाहे हिंदुस्तान का इतिहास हो, चाहे हिंदुस्तान की संस्कृति हो, अगर आप उन लोगों को सम्मान के साथ नहीं सुनते जो संस्कृत, फारसी या अंग्रेजी नहीं बोलते, हिंदी, तमिल, मलयालम या बांग्ला बोलते हैं, तो वस्तुतः आप हिंदुस्तान को ना सुनते हैं, ना सुन सकते हैं, ना समझ सकते हैं। मैं अपनी बात शुरू करना चाहता हूं, आप में से कुछ लोगों को अटपटा लगेगा। मैं अपनी बात जवाहरलाल नेहरू के एक उद्धरण से शुरू करना चाहता हूँ। 1960 में आर के करंजिया से बात करते हुए जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने कहा था कि दुनिया इस तकनीकी सभ्यता के कारण जिस आध्यात्मिक रिक्ति का सामना कर रही है, स्पिरिचुअल एम्प्टीनेस अराइजिंग आउट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजिकल सिविलाइजेशन, इस तकनीकी सभ्यता से उत्पन्न जो आध्यात्मिक रिक्ति है, इसका सामना करने का कोई ना कोई तरीका मनुष्यता को खोजना पड़ेगा। ये बात जवाहरलाल जी 1960 में महसूस कर रहे थे। स्पिरिचुअल एम्प्टीनेस और टेक्नोलॉजिकल रिवॉल्यूशन और टेक्नोलॉजिकल सिविलाइजेशन, एक्चुअली सभ्यता। जैक जॉन स्ट्रैटन हॉली मेरे बहुत पुराने मित्र हैं। करीब 15-17 साल से मैं इस बात पर गर्व कर सकता हूं कि ये मेरे मित्र हैं। मैं फ़ैन इनका सन 1984 से हूँ। जब से मैंने इनकी पहली किताब पढ़ी सूरदास पर, तब से मैं फ़ैन था। धीरे धीरे हम लोग मित्र हुए और ऐसे मित्र हुए कि आपस में काफ़ी विवाद हम लोगों में होते हैं। कई मामलों में जैक और मेरी राय कतई एक दूसरे के विपरीत है, और इसके साथ हम मित्र हैं, जैसा कि बौद्धिकों, पढ़े लिखों या आम लोगों के बीच में भी होना चाहिए। हम अपने मतभेदों के कारण एक दूसरे को एंटी इंटेलेक्चुअल या एंटी एकेडमिक नहीं कहते। वो मेरे राय का सम्मान करते हैं, मैं उनकी राय का सम्मान करता हूँ। मुझे निजी तौर पर इस बात का वाकई गर्व है कि इस किताब के लोकार्पण के अवसर पर मैं यहाँ मौजूद हूँ, क्योंकि ये किताब, बाकी तो आप लोग पढ़ेंगे, उम्मीद है कि खरीदेंगे और ख़रीदने के बाद पढ़ेंगे भी, लेकिन इस किताब को पढ़ के मेरे मन में जो 2-3 बातें आई वो मैं आपके सामने रखना चाहता हूँ। सबसे पहली बात तो ये कि ये किताब एक तरह से हर पन्ने पर उस आध्यात्मिक रिक्ति को, उस स्पिरिचुअल एम्प्टीनेस को इको करती है और उससे टकराने की कोशिश करती प्रतीत होती है, जिसका इशारा जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने 1960 में किया था। ये किताब इसीलिए कहीं कहीं नॉस्टैल्जिया भी बनती है, और ऐसा नॉस्टैल्जिया बनती है जिससे मुझ जैसे लोगों को असुविधा होती है, क्योंकि दिल्ली के आतंक का एक रूप यह है कि वृंदावन दिल्ली का दूसरा या सबर्ब बन जाए। दिल्ली के ही आतंक का एक रूप ये होगा कि दिल्ली तो 21वीं या 22वीं सदी में पहुंच जाए, वृंदावन सूरदास की 16वीं सदी में जमा रहे। ये नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि वृंदावन में भी मनुष्य रहते हैं, उनको भी शौक है मॉल में जाने का, उनको भी लंबी लंबी गाड़ियाँ अच्छी लगती हैं, उनको भी ऊंची इमारतों में रहना अच्छा लगता है। तो ये संभव नहीं है कि वृंदावन या ग्वालियर या इलाहाबाद दिल्ली और मुंबई के रिट्रीट के तौर पर अपने आप को चलने दें, वो नहीं चलने देंगे। लेकिन इसके बावजूद, इस नॉस्टैल्जिया के बावजूद, ये सही है कि ये किताब उस आध्यात्मिक रिक्ति को एक तरह से एड्रेस करने की कोशिश करती है, और इसलिए ये केवल व्यक्तिगत प्रेम और संबंध का मामला नहीं है। ये मुझे बहुत स्वाभाविक लगा कि किताब में पूरा एक अध्याय श्री वत्स जी पर है। उनसे मिलने का सौभाग्य मुझे भी मिला है, केवल एक बार मिला है, लेकिन उस एक बार की मुलाकात की बहुत गहरी छाप मेरे मन पर है। और ये बहुत सहज रूप से मैं समझ सकता हूँ कि जैक की इस पुस्तक में एक पूरा अध्याय एक व्यक्ति पर या एक परिवार पर केंद्रित क्यों है। भागवत महात्म्य में कहा गया है कि भक्ति गुजरात में जर्जर और वृद्ध हो गई थी। इसका आज के गुजरात से कोई संबंध नहीं है, लेकिन भागवत महात्म्य में कहा गया है, मैं नहीं कह रहा हूं अपनी ओर से, जानकार लोग जानते हैं। और वृंदावन में आकर के उसको पुनर्जीवन या पुनर्यौवन प्राप्त हुआ। आगे की कहानी हरिद्वार तक जाती है, लेकिन उसकी उपेक्षा हम कर सकते हैं। लेकिन वृंदावन में आकर के भक्ति को पुनर्जीवन या पुनर्यौवन प्राप्त हुआ। जैक की ये किताब बहुत मार्मिक ढंग से इस बात को रेखांकित करती है कि ये पुनर्जीवन, ये पुनर्यौवन बिना उसके संभव नहीं था, जिसका नाम लेने में आजकल लोगों को संकोच होता है, यानी कंपोजिट कल्चर या सामाजिक संस्कृति, या सीधे तौर पर कहा जाए तो भारतीय इतिहास में इस्लाम का योगदान। इसके बिना ये पुनर्जीवन, पुनर्यौवन संभव नहीं था। असल में भक्ति के पुनर्जीवन की ही नहीं, देश भाषाओं में, मैं संस्कृत की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन वर्नाक्युलर लैंग्वेजेज में भक्ति साहित्य की कल्पना हिंदू मुस्लिम इंटरैक्शन के बिना नहीं की जा सकती। हिंदी का कौन सा भक्ति साहित्य ऐसा हो सकता है जिसमें कबीर ना हो और जिसमें रसखान ना हो? और कौन से तुलसीदास ऐसे हो सकते हैं जो आजकल के कुछ हिंदुत्ववादियों की तरह हबूब की जगह तरंग स्थापित कर दे? हबूब ठेठ अरबी शब्द है, और ये तुलसीदास की पंक्ति है कि तुलसी उठत ही है में हबूब है। वो हबूब की जगह संस्कृत का शब्द खोजने नहीं दौड़ते। और तुलसीदास हम सब अंग्रेजी पढ़े लिखे लोगों की निगाह में काफ़ी कंजर्वेटिव किस्म के व्यक्ति हैं। तुलसीदास को हबूब का इस्तेमाल करने में कोई आपत्ति नहीं है, साहिब का इस्तेमाल करने में कोई आपत्ति नहीं है, गुलाम का इस्तेमाल करने में कोई आपत्ति नहीं है। इसलिए ये किताब अपने ढंग से इस बात को रेखांकित करती है कि उस संवाद के बिना ना वृंदावन संभव था और ना भक्ति का साहित्य संभव था। तीसरी जो महत्वपूर्ण बात इस किताब को पढ़ते हुए मेरे मन में कौन थी, ये सब वो चीज़ें हैं जो मेरे मन में इस किताब को पढ़ती हुई आई, जो आपके सामने मैं रख रहा हूँ। वृंदावन को लेकर के एक कल्पना ये है कि इसमें उद्धृत किया गया है वृंदावन की माननीय सांसद को कि वृंदावन में एक डिज्नीलैंड जैसा कृष्णा थीम पार्क होना चाहिए। मैं अमेरिका 2-4 बार गया हूँ, डिज्नीलैंड जाने का ख्याल मुझे कभी नहीं आया। ये जाहिर है कि मेरा पिछड़ापन है, इसमें अमेरिका का कोई दोष नहीं है। और अच्छा है अगर बन जाएगा तो डिज्नी पार्क ना सही तो कृष्णा पार्क में चला जाऊँगा, लेकिन शायद वहाँ तो बिल्कुल नहीं जाऊँगा। और उसका कारण ये है कि कृष्णा मेरे लिए मनोरंजन की वस्तु नहीं है। मैं कृष्णा पार्क में समय बिताने नहीं जाता और ना जाऊँगा। मैं मंदिर आमतौर से नहीं जाता हूँ, लेकिन अगर कभी जाऊँगा तो टाइम पास के लिए नहीं जाऊँगा। ये किताब बहुत फोर्सफुल ढंग से, बड़े सटीक ढंग से, और फोर्सफुल का मतलब ये नहीं कि एक तो मैं जैक के प्रति, मैंने जैक से परसों भी कहा था फ़ोन पर, अब सबके सामने कह देता हूँ, जैक से मुझे ईर्ष्या होती है। और ईर्ष्या इस बात के लिए होती है कि इतनी हार्ड हिटिंग बातें इतने पोलाइट गद्य में कैसे लिखी जा सकती हैं। काश भगवान ने ये सामर्थ्य मुझे दी होती कि इतनी हार्ड हिटिंग बातें इतने मीठे ढंग से, इतने पोलाइट ढंग से लिखी जा सकती हैं। जैक की ये किताब एक सवाल हमारे सामने रखती है कि जो समृद्धि है, संपन्नता है, प्रॉस्पेरिटी, और भक्ति, उसके बीच में संबंध क्या हो। और ये सवाल बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है क्योंकि हम उस परंपरा के लोग हैं जिसमें भक्ति या साधना का अर्थ अनिवार्यतः फकीरी और वैराग्य नहीं है। ये वो परंपरा है जो धर्म, अर्थ, काम, मोक्ष चारों को एक सा महत्व देती है। इसलिए ये सवाल बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है कि प्रॉस्पेरिटी और स्पिरिचुअलिटी, समृद्धि और भक्ति के बीच संबंध किस तरह का बनेगा। क्या वो संबंध इस होड़ से बनेगा कि हमारा मंदिर ताजमहल से ज़्यादा टूरिस्ट अट्रैक्ट कर रहा है? एक तो मुझे ये समझ में नहीं आता कि ताजमहल को लेकर इतना विचित्र ऑब्सेशन क्यों है। जैसा हमारे मंदिर की कामयाबी का एक प्रमाण ये है कि ताजमहल से ज़्यादा टूरिस्ट यहाँ आ रहे हैं। जानने वाले जानते हैं कि ताजमहल और मंदिर की तुलना, अगर मैं ठेठ पारंपरिक हिंदू की तरह कहूँ तो पाप है, क्योंकि ताजमहल अपनी सारी खूबसूरती के बावजूद अंततः एक मकबरा है और मंदिर मकबरा नहीं होता। तो ताजमहल से ज़्यादा टूरिस्ट हमने खींच लिए, इससे प्रमाणित एनीवे मुझे कुछ नहीं कहना चाहिए, लोगों की भावनाएं आहत हो जाती हैं। भावनाएं आहत करने से मैं वैसे ही डरता हूँ। मेरी यूनिवर्सिटी आजकल अंडर अटैक है, मैं भी अंडर अटैक हूँ। अपने हाथ पैर किसको प्यारे नहीं लगते भाई, तो भावनाएं आहत नहीं करनी चाहिए। लेकिन ये सवाल फिर भी है, हमारे मंदिर की कामयाबी इस बात में है कि इस बार हमारे यहाँ ज़्यादा टूरिस्ट आए। समृद्धि से कोई आपत्ति नहीं है। मैंने कहा आपसे कि मैं उस परंपरा का व्यक्ति हूँ जिसमें गृहस्थ जीवन और आर्थिक समृद्धि को एक सा महत्व दिया गया है, लेकिन वो समृद्धि आध्यात्मिकता से कैसा संबंध बनाती है। कृष्णा को थीम पार्क का सब्जेक्ट बनाने वाला, अपने मंदिर की महानता ताजमहल की ऊंचाई से नापने वाला, या इस बात पर गर्व करने वाला कि हमारा मंदिर संसार की टॉलेस्ट रिलीजियस बिल्डिंग होने जा रहा है। मुझे कोई इस पर वैल्यू जजमेंट नहीं देना है, सबकी अपनी राय है। भगवान की सृष्टि में तभी सभी तरह के प्राणियों की संभावना है, एक प्राणी मैं भी हूँ, एक प्राणी आप भी हैं, सब अपने अपने मस्त रहें, क्या दिक्कत है। लेकिन ये किताब ज़रूर पढ़िएगा, क्योंकि ये किताब असल में एक बहुत गहरे दर्द के साथ लिखी गई किताब है, और वो दर्द क्या है और किस तरह वो बात किताब रखती है, इसके लिए मुझे लगता है कि इससे बेहतर कुछ नहीं हो सकता कि मैं इस किताब का अंतिम पैराग्राफ पढ़ दूं और अपनी बात करूं। किताब खत्म होती है, इन द एंड वी शेयर दिस वर्चुअल रियल वर्ल्ड, वी शेयर आवर विल्डरनेस होम, इफ ईडन वंस इट scalds us all. Religion's great gift is to make us aware of how tenuous our claims to authority are. And organized religion can indeed be a force for good, but we poison religion's gift by wielding it so often as a weapon, saying we have seen the light and you have not. Vrindavan, built on love, hopes to save us from such delusions. But Vrindavan too is built on religion. Has Vrindavan really been plowed under? Are efforts to redeem it simply for naught? If so, that is likely to be true for the planet. Vrindavan is the sign of our times. Thank you very much.
Can you be nice to Jay? Oh yes, that would be great. And I think you may have brought some visual materials for us.
There is Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. There's certain performance pressures that is created for me. I won't take too much of time. I'm a spiritual architect and I majorly do temples across India. Tirupati Balaji is one of my clients. ISKCON, I'm doing the world's tallest religious structure. I have a little difference of opinion there. There was a certain time in history where we lost the science of our ancestors. We started working as bonsai art on our science. So we started cutting the roots. थोड़ी advancement होती थी, roots काटते थे, हमारी जो knowledge है वो पेड़ उतना ही रहा. If we go a little more back, our temples were always the most advanced structures possible in their times. Technologically advanced, हवा में उड़ते pillars, highest of shikhars. So even the palaces would fall short of what a temple would be. So we lost that science in time because we started running more towards materialistic. My day-to-day needs became more important than what a spiritual structure would give it to me. So it was always a give and take with the God also, which started. That's where our temple structures started becoming smaller and smaller by the day. And today they have only in our cupboards we see God. We don't do great structures anymore. Now, how do I connect my son to go to a temple? If I do a small structure and the queue management system is not right, they wouldn't go. So my first brush with temple was the world's tallest spiritual structure, and after that I'm only doing temples across India and outside of India also. Akshapatra also, I do all the kitchens in India, so I inaugurated the 51st kitchen in Delhi, finally, on 24th of December. So that's my difference. So unless it is technologically pluggable to future, my next generation will not see the temple. So I have to make it interesting enough to get everybody there. And if I enter a theme park of Lord Krishna, my son would ask, what is it? If they like Iron Man, they like Superman. So our gods have enough story to tell, which in a better way and a better lesson, which Iron Man couldn't give. Possibly Hanumanji or Krishnaji gives a better lesson to my child. So that's my take on spiritual structures. So I'm an engineer by profession, and that's what I do for bread and butter. But of course, my brush with spirituality is now I'm doing, I think, 90% of spiritual structures only. And few people won't like it, but yesterday, we just did I Love Tirupati in Tirupati, and it has crossed about 10,000 likes in 3 hours. So why not give people what they want in today's times? And so it's not old school or new school. It is you plug yourself to new times, and the temples are not being done right. That's the problem. It's like, it's no less than a hospital. So it's your spiritual healing happens in a temple. So if my hospital is not planned right, your patient is not going to go back home. So that's where we lost the science of doing temples, and they don't give you what they are supposed to give you. They don't heal you. As a devotee, if you go into a temple, they don't heal you anymore, because the knowledge is so shallow in what we do. So out of 100, possibly 2 align to what the temples are supposed to be, and 99%, they are just any building what they see. So possibly the purpose of a spiritual structure is not being served right. And yes, I started doing temples before BJP came into power in UP. So I aligned my profession not with what is in the country, but even before that. And a lot of people ask me, how come you started into temples? And like Professor John also asked me, how did you enter into temples? So I guess it is my calling, and yours too. Your first visit to Vrindavan was 1974, you said. So that's when this temple was conceived, in 1974, when Srila Prabhupada said that you're running for high-rise for yourself into materialistic world, so why don't you do a skyscraper for Lord Krishna? So that was in 1974 when you first visited Vrindavan. And my calling to serving Lord Krishna, my grandfather's name was Brijlal, my father's name was Mohanlal Sharma, and my spouse is Kamal. So possibly my calling was always to serve Lord Krishna, some way or the other. So that's where I am serving it. So thank you so much.
Does this work? While I'm busy passing the microphone to Vishnupriya, let me say just one thing, and this has to do with a monumental building. We mentioned the temple of Govindadev, which was inaugurated in 1590. Just imagine how that temple must have looked to people who were living in a village like Arit, in what today now is Vrindavan. What would Vrindavan be if that monumental structure had not been built? So I'm not passing judgment on this at all. I'm just saying that the wonders and mysteries of history are very much around us as we think about the relationship between building and a place like Vrindavan. And now I'd like to pass the microphone to Vishnupriya Goswami, who I've known for a long time. And what shall I say about you? We've said a few things about you already. Let me just say that Vishnupriya is an accomplished Odissi dancer who has performed in a number of places in India. But today she's going to speak to us, I hope, from the heart.
I request you to kindly repeat with me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Well, I'm born in the Radha Raman family of Vrindavan, which is the temple serving family of Radha Ramanji, and it was found around 16th century. And first of all, I'm sorry, thank you for inviting me to this such a special occasion. I don't think I have achieved anything like that to be a part of this event. And thank you, Oxford University Press, for inviting me. Well, I think Professor Hawley, Jagji, as what we call him in our home, has spent more time in Vrindavan than the double of my age. And I grew up watching him and listening about him, and my grandmother used to sing song of the Pad of Surdas, and she told me that she got the correct rhythm from Jagji. And I was like, okay, good, and I'll also get him and I'll use it in my dance, you know. And It's been an amazing experience when I had my first conversation with him, and it was around 2016 something, or 2017. And I was so fascinated and I was so happy because he was listening to everything what I was saying. I was not giving any religious sermon or spiritual sermon. I was just talking about my school, educational theories, and etc., and what is in the student's life. And he was paying so careful attention, and he was questioning everything. And I like that because I like people to question me so that I can question myself and then I can find answers and the whole cycle goes on. It was a wonderful experience, so enough of me now. Let's go back to Vrindavan. So this book, it defines the basic nature of Vrindavan, Krishna. And it embraces the spiritual economy of Vrindavan. But for me, Vrindavan has been a total different place. And I think my family has added a spiritual perspective to my point of view. When I grew up, I watched many offerings being offered to the temples, but main three were Bhog, Rag, Shringar. And first of all, the Rag Seva, which is the musical offering. So beautiful, Kirtan, Bhajan, especially Gaudiya Vaishnav Bhajan. It highlights, क्या कहते हैं उसे, कि जो वातावरण है उसमें जो आध्यात्मिक जो हमारी तुष्टि मतलब एक संतुष्टि मिलती है हम लोगों को, और इतना अच्छा लगता है सुन के जब हम लोगों की आरती होती है राधा रमन जी में, तो साथ में झांझ बजता है और मृदंग बजता है, इतना अच्छा लगता है उस समय. और in my family, my grandmother, she gives religious sermon through her music. And my aunt, she is a professional classical singer, and I think in the Goswami family, dance, music, or anything has never been a taboo. And I am also a great beneficiary of this privilege, and I've performed my first performance in the Radha Raman courtyard when I was 4 years old. And when I see it, I'm like, just girl dancing, looking down. It's really, I was so scared to look up and face all the people, and especially Radha Ramanji, and I was not even, I did not understand what I was doing. I'm just, okay, the Didi who came to taught me, she taught me, you have to do this, and I was like, okay, I'll perform, and I performed. And I would like to give so much thanks to my mother who has encouraged me. Without her, I would have not reached this level of Odissi, and I wish from the blessing of Radharaman that I will dedicate my full self into the dance. Well, coming back to Vrindavan. So as I was saying Bhog, let's talk about food. It's very important. There are various culinary delights in Vrindavan. If you have visited Radharamanji, the Kulia Prasad is very delicious. And have anybody eaten it? It's really delicious. And there are various seasonal foods, and on different occasions, they serve and they make different delights. And I remember, during the Diwali time, at the night, there is Darbar. And all the Goswami families, all the 40 families of Radha Ramanji, they come there. And then some part of the prasad is given to each of them. It's the only occasion. Otherwise, not all the 40 family comes and, have this kind of things in the temple. It's the only time, and I love that time, and I just say I'm going to miss it. And what more? Shringar. Sorry, Shringar. Shringar, I think you have all got the meaning of it. Decorating Krishna, not just with the dresses, with your bhav, with your ras, what you have. And also, there are many cultural activities being performed as a part of Shringar as various aesthetics. Phool Bangla, Sanji. Sanji is like Rangoli, it's the pictorial depictions of various Krishna Leelas. And Phool Banglas are the flower decorations, where the artists of Vrindavan show their true art. They got the stage to perform what they have. And Vrindavan is actually
an artistic and cultural heritage. And I wish, as someone, as a part of Vrindavan's future, that Krishna essence and that spiritual bhav will always remain. Although there are some economic factors, because of that, the aesthetics and the cultural values are being pushed to the sideline and they are in danger. And I think it's only because of our people it can be saved and it can be survived, because it's the people who keep the spirituality, the religion alive, not the religion itself. It needs a medium. So I just wish the best for Vrindavan, and I wish that I could dedicate myself fully into it. Oh, very important thing, which I was being called for to talk about, the women in Radharaman temple. So while the male members serve inside the temple, the women, basically the daughter-in-laws, they play the very big role. They have great organizational skills and capabilities. I've seen my grandmother and my mother too. And my grandmother was like, I am sick and I'm unhealthy and I'm having this sleeping problems and this and that. And when Seva came, she was like, I'm all up, I'm all charged up, full energetic. I don't think that without her, any Seva can be completed. And regarding education, as I feel privileged to be a part of such great scholars and spiritual leaders, and women have equally been encouraged to study whatever they want. And I am also one of the beneficiary, and I will be knocking the college doors this year if I pass my 12th. And I think, one more very important fact. In many places, it is considered that widows' presence in any kind of auspicious celebrations like birthrights or marriage, the presence of a widow is considered inauspicious. But in the Goswami clan, the ritual will not begin if the widow or the eldest widow in the Goswami clan is not present there. She will preside over it, she will officiate the ritual. And I was also, quite shocked when I saw this, and I was like, oh, Baba, I saw, and I read in my book, in my school books, that this is this and this and that. And he said, no, this is different in Vrindavan, and this is different in the culture. So I realized at that point of time that how my family is different from the other families. I got a normal, modern school education. I studied from a convent school. I completed my 10th there, and now I'm studying in Army Public School, Mathura. And I got into influence of many different religions and cultures, and I do not have like normal friends, like Samez Agrawal or like that. No. I had one Christian friend, one Muslim friend, one Sikh friend, and I don't know, I was not attracted to Hindu people there. I was attracted more to the different religion, variety, I need variety. So I was constantly, in conversation with them, and this sense of respect for every kind of religion developed. And at last, I want to tell you that I first asked you to repeat with me the Naam Kirtan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He spread it in everywhere. So I was, if you think that women are being conserved to the inside of their houses and not go out and perform, so in 2016, I believe, there was 1500 years celebration of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming to Vrindavan. And I was a part of the play. And I played the part of Vishnupriya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's wife, ironically, which is also my name. And at that time, I was a part of a drama. So I can say that women are never, pulled up or pulled out of any kind of these activities. We are equally encouraged, and I think we have better lives than the boys in our family, because we have more freedom to choose whatever we want to wear, whatever we want to eat, or and study and pursue in our future. And I think it's just a blessing. Thank you.
Master of ceremony.
I realized it rather late. So We have time.
I have a feeling that we're right at the edge of time. What do you think?
I don't know, but do we have time for some question answers or not? I don't know. 10 minutes.
Easy ones.
So if there are any questions which can be articulated in maximum 1 minute. I'm serious. I'm quite ruthless as master of ceremonies. 1 minute. Yes.
सबसे पहले तो इस बात का आपका अभिवादन करना चाहता हूँ कि इस बुक की विवेचना को जिस तरीके से आपने प्रसारित किया, ये I mean it has enlightened us. I mean feel like reading this book. I mean all the panelists are doing justice to what they are saying, but yes, you as a critic and as a real expert really highlighted the book in such a fashion that it gives the real inner and what.
No, sorry. Can we have question?
Yeah.
But let's not forget that these two
question
people are actually in the book.
The
So
question is, I mean, I really support the view of Mr. Rimpesh.
Yeah.
The temples should really be attractive, large,
Yeah.
because we prepared Somnath temple, or we prepared any temple, constructed any temple. That is what is the glory of Hinduism. When we say proudly कि हम गर्व से अपने आप को हिंदू कहते हैं, तो हमें गर्व से ये कहने का सौभाग्य क्यों ना हो कि हमारे मंदिर भी जो है वो बहुत विशाल है।
तो ये सवाल मुझे से हुआ, एक तरह से इसका उत्तर दे देता हूँ। मुझे विशाल मंदिरों से कतई कोई आपत्ति नहीं है। दूसरी बात ये कि किसी भी धार्मिक परंपरा में जब समृद्धि होती है, सत्ता होती है, तो स्वाभाविक है कि वो समृद्धि, वो सत्ता उसके धार्मिक स्थलों की विशालता में प्रकट होती है। आप गर्व से अपने आप को हिंदू कहते हुए कह सकते हैं कि हमारे मंदिर, मैं और आप दोनों, हमारे मंदिर बहुत विशाल हैं। ईसाई जो है वो रोमन कैथोलिक चर्च के जो कैथेड्रल्स हैं उनकी विशालता पे गर्व कर सकते हैं। मुसलमान यकीनन दिल्ली की और भोपाल की जामिया मस्जिद पे गर्व कर सकते हैं। मैंने पहले ही निवेदन किया कि मेरी कतई कोई आपत्ति या समस्या शानदार मंदिरों से, हाई राइज टेम्पल से या बहुत भव्य मंदिरों से नहीं है। मैं जो बात कह रहा था वो एक ज़्यादा व्यापक संदर्भ में थी, और वो ये कि संपन्नता और आध्यात्मिकता के बीच हम नेगोशिएशन कैसे करें। आध्यात्मिकता हम और आप सब जानते हैं, मन की बात, यानी वो वाली मन की बात नहीं, आपका जो मन है, आपकी जो अंतरात्मा है, या परमात्मा के साथ आपका जो संबंध है, और संपन्नता वो जो हम सब चाहते हैं संपन्नता। मैं गरीबी को ग्लोरीफाई करने वालों में से बिल्कुल नहीं हूँ। गरीबी मेरे लिए समस्या है, और जो गरीब है उसके लिए अभिशाप है, ये मैं जानता हूँ। मैं उन बेवकूफ़ों में से नहीं हूँ जो गरीबी को ग्लोरीफाई करते हैं। मेरा कहना यह है कि संपन्नता और आध्यात्मिकता के बीच नेगोशिएशन के तरीके क्या हो सकते हैं। एक तरीका यह है कि आप दुनिया की सबसे ऊंची रिलीजियस स्ट्रक्चर बना लें। एक तरीका यह है कि आप एक बहुत बड़ी मस्जिद बना लें जिसमें लाखों लोग नमाज पढ़ सकें। मैंने पहले ही निवेदन किया कि मुझे कोई ऐतराज़ नहीं है उसमें, लेकिन वो शायद मेरा तरीका नहीं। मुझे कोई ऐतराज़ नहीं कि आप कृष्णा थीम पार्क बनाएं, आप बलराम थीम पार्क बनाएं, आप रामा थीम पार्क बनाएं, आप रामचंद्र जी का स्टैच्यू बनाएं। मैं अभी भी अपने थोड़े बहुत हिंदूपन के साथ ये मानता हूँ कि स्टैच्यू और विग्रह में फ़र्क होता है। विग्रह में प्राण प्रतिष्ठा होती है, स्टैच्यू में प्राण प्रतिष्ठा नहीं होती। तो मैं स्टैच्यू और विग्रह का फ़र्क जानता हूँ। इसी तरह मैं थीम पार्क और मंदिर का फ़र्क जानता हूँ। मेरे बेटे की रुचि अगर मंदिर जाने में नहीं है तो उसका समाधान मैं ये नहीं मानता कि थीम पार्क बना दूँ, क्योंकि कल को फिर मुझे स्टूडियो बनाने की भी सोच सकती है। उसका समाधान ये है कि उसकी सचमुच मंदिर में दिलचस्पी पैदा करूँ। अभी हमारी नौजवान दोस्त ने जो उदाहरण दिया, उस उदाहरण से तमाम हिंदू परिवार सीख सकते हैं, उन्हें सीखना चाहिए। और कोई सवाल?
मेरा सवाल, my question is to Mr. Rimpesh. When you say spiritual architecture or spiritual building, what determines, I mean, what is it in a building that makes it spiritual according to you? And I ask this because I think there is a certain relationship with nature that in our faith we consider to be spiritual, and technological advancement or length or breadth or complexity of any structure cannot happen without, in today's time, emissions, without polluting the environment, throwing stuff into the river, which is, I think, one of the themes of the book. So, to me, a structure by someone like Laurie Baker is spiritual because it engages with the environment in a certain way. Is that something that you think about when you talk of spiritual architecture?
You're perfectly right. Our world's tallest is going to be a gold-rated lead spiritual structure. So I guess that answers your question. Sorry. This one is going to be gold-rated lead certified spiritual project.
I don't know what that means. Gold-rated?
It will be really a green temple.
Green building.
Yeah.
The topmost is platinum rating, which of course you'll not be able to achieve in a building like that. So number 2, a responsible building is gold rating, and this is going to be world's tallest spiritual structure with a gold certified LEED rating. So I guess that answers your question.
Yeah, but I wanted to know your thoughts on this.
You can discuss it later on, after yes.
Actually, either Rupesh ji or Purushottam ji or even Jack or even Vishnupriya can take this question. A temple, historically, is a structure that is meant to actually evolve the spiritual question, not always just provide the answer. So I'm very curious when we say a spiritual temple, कि ये किस तरीके से ये प्रश्न को पैदा करेगी लोगों में, because वो प्रश्न पैदा करना ही एक आध्यात्मिक चीज है. So this is, anyone can take this.
I very much appreciate the sentiment. So I come from a Christian background, and I still go on occasion to a Christian church, but when I do go to a Christian church, I always have prasad in mind. If communion is being taken, I'm taking prasad. So that's participation. But there's something about a religious building, be it a temple or a mosque or a church, that you walk inside, it's been constructed as a place where you can be a little separate from the world. Connected, of course, with the world, as you were saying with the gold rating, but a little bit separate. It's an invitation to think. And I often have to check myself when I'm somewhere with my wife, who comes from a very secular background. She's Jewish, thank goodness. She thinks that people shouldn't be allowed to marry someone of the same religious tradition, who shouldn't be forced to marry across traditions. That's her view. But I'll find myself walking by a church or a mosque or a temple, and I'll just want to go in. And I usually don't go if Laura's there, because I'm not sure what she'll think. But my urge is to go inside. And it's a very mysterious thing, Annapurna, just to be in that place, not necessarily for an answer, but to have a chance to think for a minute. And thinking is always asking questions. There's something about being in a religious space that makes you say, what am I doing here? Who has given this structure so that I can think? So I very much appreciate your having cast the idea of a temple, or even of a place like Vrindavan as a whole, as a place that asks us to think. Thank you for that.
Any other question? Yes. Ji.
Ms. John, I just want to ask, you have laid down a kind of agenda that future of the city should be linked to the culture it has. You are trying to define the future of Vrindavan in the context of what happened in the past, and particularly in Krishna. Do you, I think, see that the city you are conceiving in the future, that Vrindavan, does Rimpesh building will fit into that kind of culture?
This is called being put on the spot. So I'll tell you the truth. I have enjoyed conversations with Rimpesh. Always. Never have I been in your studio where I haven't just felt as if my mind was opening. and I was listening to someone whose perspective on the world was just freshening for me. My own sense is, but it's just my own, and I don't say this in the book, so sir, you forced me to it, it's very bad, is that the Chandrodaya Mandir, should it be built, and we think that really is going to be built, there it is. It forms, it's at the end, it's at the other end of the Mall of Vrindavan. It's at the western extremity of Vrindavan. So I think of the Chandrodaya Mandir, just in my own mind, as a kind of border zone between the historic Vrindavan and the Delhi, which is being built all around it. It's a kind of, I interpret it as a kind of effort to be a beacon to the world of Delhi. I mean the airport that's going to be built for metropolitan Delhi, the new one. It's closer to Vrindavan than it is to Delhi. So as a part of that landscape, to my personal point of view, the Chandrodaya Mandir makes sense, actually. It contributes to that. What I'm hoping very much, however, is that the older part of Vrindavan and the part that's actually on the river will not be, that people will pay attention to the need to preserve that Vrindavan as it always has been. And that to me is at some distance from what's happening at the Chandrodaya Mandir. So you forced me to give an answer, and here I've given it.
I asked yes or no. I never asked for his answer.
Yeah, any other question? Yes, please.
Priya would like to add.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. What was your name?
Annapurna.
I thought about your question, and I asked him to answer it first because he has a totally different experience of it, and I also have a kind of the same. Yes. So I was born in this family, and still, you know, when you are born, it's not compulsory to be with all, you get that devotion the time you are born. You get it gradually. And when I was born, I used to go to temple, and my mother used to go, just come with me and go to temple. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll go. And I was not a very, I was kind of an atheist at that time. I did not understand God. And I used to go into the temple, and I used to join my hands, and I was like, okay, Radharamanji, what should I ask for? Will you fulfill my blessings? Oh, sorry, my wishes. And like that. And then gradually I started asking questions. When I thought that, okay, I might go outside of this place, and I will go and meet the real world, and they will ask me, what is this? Why do you believe in this? And why is this like that? And why is that like that? And then I started asking questions. Even I don't know. And till what point I will ask others to answer my questions. At last, we can be the best teachers to ourselves. So if you go inside a temple, I think the best spiritual answers you can get is from yourself. And it is really important to question. I don't know otherwise how you get devoted to God.
वृंदावन जो है यमुना जी की देन है, और यमुना जी में अगर पानी ही नहीं रहेगा तो वृंदावन का क्या होगा? इसके बारे में क्या राय है? क्योंकि जिस हिसाब से पानी घट रहा है, जिस हिसाब से पानी नहीं है, और आगे 10 साल में मेरे ख्याल से यमुना जी में पानी नहीं रहेगा, ये तो उचित ही है। अगर पानी ही नहीं रहेगा तो वृंदावन मथुरा कहाँ रहेगी?
देखिए, मैं जैक को जो कहना होगा कहेंगे। यही वो सवाल है जो मैंने कहा कि आध्यात्मिकता और समृद्धि का संबंध, आध्यात्मिकता और संपन्नता का संबंध। आज आप तकनीकी रूप से इतने संपन्न हैं, और जिनके पास पैसा है वो तो निश्चित रूप से इतने संपन्न हैं कि दिल्ली की दूसरी बस्तियों में पानी आए ना आए, मेरे बंगले का 20,000 लीटर का टैंक हमेशा भरा रहना चाहिए, और वो भरा रहता है। मैं कुछ ज़्यादा पैसे दे देता हूँ एमसीडी को, वो भरा रहता है। अगर इसी तरह हम अपनी समृद्धि और संपन्नता के लिए जीने के क्रम में अंधाधुंध नेचर को खींचते चले गए, तो आप वृंदावन की चिंता कर रहे हैं, मैं कह रहा हूँ कि धरती कहाँ रहेगी। और यही चिंता इस किताब के अंत में आती है। मैं किसी देश या किसी समाज पर कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता, लेकिन ये बीमारी मैंने 15-17 वर्ष पहले अमेरिका में नोट की, और अभी बीमारी मैं दिल्ली में कई जगह देखता हूँ। 5 कमरों का 7 कमरों का मकान है, घर से निकले बत्ती बंद करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं, सारी बत्तियां जल रही। अब हम अपने ऐसे दोस्तों को जानते हैं, 2 लोगों का परिवार है, घर में गाड़ियों की संख्या 5 है। मैं मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि एक SUV होनी चाहिए, एक सीडान होनी चाहिए, एक छोटी होनी चाहिए, एक बड़ी होनी चाहिए, तब ना मजा आएगा गाड़ियों का। तो फिर ऐसी हालत में अगर आप इस कदर निर्ममता से प्रकृति के साथ व्यवहार करेंगे, तो जमुना में पानी गायब हो जाएगा। दिल्ली में ऑक्सीजन के क्लिनिक ऑलरेडी खुलने लगे हैं। जिसके पास पैसा होगा वो ऑक्सीजन पाएगा, जिसके पास पैसा नहीं होगा वो मरेगा। और जिसके पास पैसा होगा ऑक्सीजन पाने का, वो कुछ पैसा ऑक्सीजन पे खर्च करेगा, कुछ आध्यात्मिकता पे खर्च करेगा। और जमुना जी नहीं रहेंगी तो कोई बात नहीं, वर्चुअल जमुना जी बन जाएंगी। जब वर्चुअल ब्रज 84 कोस हो सकता है, जब वर्चुअल क्या कहते हैं उसको कुंभ स्नान हो सकता है, तो वर्चुअल जमुना क्यों नहीं हो सकती? मेरे स्क्रीन पर जमुना बहती रहेंगी, असल में बहे ना बहे, नोनी में डुबकी मार दूंगा। तो यही कड़वी सच्चाइयां हैं जिनको फेस करना पड़ेगा। और इसीलिए मैंने कहा कि जैक की इस किताब की खूबी ये है कि बहुत ही विनम्र गद्य में, बहुत ही पोलाइट प्रोज में ये सारी बातें, अगर आप सेंसिटिव हैं, अगर आपके पास कान है और कानों के बीच में कुछ है, तो ये किताब बहुत सी चीजें आपको सुनने और देखने के लिए मजबूर करते हैं। आई थिंक वी कैन कंक्लूड। We thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us today. Thank you to the panel. Thank you, Ms. Mudgal, Mr. Pradhan, Mr. Nayak. Thank you so much.